Here we have the three basics of Hapkido: theory of circle, flowing water, and theory of strength, connection and disconnection of the opponent's energy. Circle theory. The enemy is unbalanced through turning movement.
셋, 넷, 하나, 둘, 셋.
Now,
이거를 한
speed.
동작으로 오면은 바로 이렇게 돌아가게 돼 있습니다. 그러면
Let's
하론에
apply it to
대해서
self-defense.
호신술을 한 가지 보여드리겠습니다.
We work circular movements in order to unbalance the opponent. We get his lack of balance by making use of his speed, and then we finish with a lock by pressing on his joint. Water theory. It lies in follow the flowing water in order to get a speed enough to overflow it.
네, 한 동작으로 보이겠습니다.
Application to self-defense through basic exercises. We make use of the opponent energy.
흐르게 만듭니다.
Different strikes to the neck can be applied. Theory of connection and disconnection of energy. This principle is based on the strength union of the opponent in order to scatter it afterwards. We draw the energy from the enemy and then we throw him. These are the three basic principles of Hapkido International Federation: theory of circle, water flowing, and connection and disconnection of the opponent energy. We are going to see now the 12 basic forms of Hapkido International Federation. Chon Ki Bup. First, let's watch how to practice. Chung Gui Bup is the attacking form. It's practiced at both sides of the body in order to train basic movement. Now, the same technique, Chon Ki Bup, in Chigui Bup way. That's the defending form. Self-defense training.
천천히 하라고 그래. 천천히 할 거니까. 가령 손목을 엇갈려 상대방이 잡았을 때
Through the 12 basic forms training, we can achieve the mastery of the movements and techniques. Pal Kup Chigui Bup form. Way of receiving Chigui Bup form.
그러면
Practical application with elbow technique.
호신술로 연결을 시키겠습니다. 다음 동작은 빨리 하겠습니다. 다음 동작은 빨리 하겠습니다.
Sip-ja Ki-bup form. The attacker uses Chung Gui Bup, both to the right and the left, in order to improve his position. Defensive application of Chigui Bup form. Sip-ja Ki-bup practice.
호신술로 보여드리겠습니다. 두 손.
We can see now the energy changes exercises and how they can be done in order to manipulate the opponent, then holding him down on the floor. Hapkido is a total martial art. Earlier, I used to practice boxing, taekwondo, and many other arts until I learned about Hapkido. Then I discovered a complete martial art in which body and mind control go hand in hand. There are weaponry, techniques, punching, and kicking. Really, it's a whole system.
지는 거를 싫어하는 그런 성격을 가지고
There is no competition in Hapkido as we want it to remain a martial art. Hapkido is very useful to develop energy and self-defense.
내가 다른 사람이 생각할 때는
Basic movements can be learned in 3 months. If you think it easy, I'll turn it up easy, and if you work through, you'll improve. The 12 basic techniques are essential to be worked with in order to practice them with a partner. There are a lot of advanced techniques, as blows, kicks, throws, and locks. But the program we have just seen here is the real basic of Hapkido. Those 12 forms can link and increase the number of techniques. Hapkido is a unique martial arts. All the styles have the same basics. Then every school have developed its own style. But anyway, all the Hapkido schools have the same basics and foundations. The International Federation have developed and improved these 12 techniques so anybody can easily learn anywhere. Hapkido, we named so after the pattern of the International Federation. It emphasizes the circle techniques and the martial art aspect, not only the learning of some self-defense technique. We want to stress proper Hapkido advanced techniques, founded in inner energy, technique, and proper mentality and the perfect movements, and the training of some blows or locks. Body control is the hardest thing to learn. Chigui Bup form. This is an internal-external technique. Here, we see the attacker Chung Gui Bup form. It means the way of using the attacker energy and then throw him. Defending way of Chigui Bup. This form is done with both hands, either as an attacker or a defender. Chigui Bup technique applied to self-defense. It is an internal technique that ends with an external one throwing the opponent away.
빠른 동작으로 보여드리겠습니다. 다음은
Chon Ki Bup form.
기법을 보여드리겠습니다.
Chung Gui Bup way to both sides. Chigui Bup way to profit from the basic movements of this defensive technique. Practice of Chon Ki Bup technique.
그러면은 빨리 보여드리겠습니다. 그러면은 빨리 보여드리겠습니다. 다음엔
Mock Bup form. We finish this technique by hitting at the opponent's neck. Attacking Chung Gui Bup. Chigui Bup way.
기법을 보여드리겠습니다.
Self-defense application.
연결을 시키겠습니다.
Circling movements ending with blows at the opponent's neck.
이번에는 빠른 동작으로 보여드리겠습니다. 빠른 동작으로 보여드리겠습니다. 다음은
Mock Chon Ki Bup form. Chung Gui Bup way. fluid movements, and circling techniques in order to make use of the opponent energy. Chigui Bup way, receptors technique. Practice of mock Chon Ki Bup form. This is a technique in order to split the energy with a hit to the neck.
다음엔 빠른 동작으로 보여드리겠습니다.
Hapkido Bup. This technique ends with little help from the shoulders. Chung Gui Bup way. Chigui Bup way. Practice of the technique. We help the upper part of the opponent arm with our shoulder and throwing him later.
빨리 보여드리겠습니다.
특별한 방법은 첫째는 체력이 강해야 되니까 체력 운동으로.
These are our rules to learn Hapkido. Taking care of our body, physical attributes such as flexibility, agility, power, and so on. Then, the mental and will development. These are the Hapkido goals.
영하 20도 이상이 되는데 이 한강이라는 데 가서 그 겨울에 물 속에서 돈다고 생각하는 거는 우리는
Hwan Chon Ki Bup contains the 12 basic techniques that get us to position and movements control. Here, we make use of the opponent's energy, making circles to unbalance and project him. We make use of his energy, taking advantage of his body and passivity in order to unbalance him.
이 한원법은 상대방이 들어오는 것을 돌아서 힘을 빼는 말씀드리고 싶은 거는
Hapkido remains a traditional martial art without competition at all, and doesn't feel having popularity in change for losing his place as a traditional martial art.
없다고 생각합니다. 왜 그러냐면
Each martial art has its own federation that works in his own interest by promoting the competition. Hapkido International Federation only tries to carry on a martial art that develops inner energy, body control, and is beneficial to the student. Money means nothing as we talk about the purity of technique. The basis for a good Hapkido practice starts with self-respect, respect to the opponent and the community. A good mind and a good will training is the base. Finally, the position. It includes the physical, the mental, as well as the attitude. These three aspects establish the main Hapkido aims: respect, courtesy, mind, and one's attitude. Yung Pal Tu Bup form. This technique ends with a little help for the forearm. Is Chung Gui Bup way. Chigui Bup application to both sides from the defender. Self-defense application.
연결을 해서 보여드리겠습니다.
We force the opponent to move his energy, projecting him afterwards by pushing him with the inner part of the forearm. Tak Nog Bup form. Chung Gui Bup way and practice by the attacker.
기법부터 보여드리겠습니다.
Chigui Bup way of receiving the form. Self-defense practice.
연결을 시켜 보여드리겠습니다. 다음은 빠른 동작으로 보여드리겠습니다. 다음은 빠른 동작으로 보여드리겠습니다.
Palmok Ki Bup form.
팔목 기법을 보여드리겠습니다. 먼저 청기법부터
Chung Gui Bup way. Chigui Bup way.
법을 보여드리겠습니다.
Practice.
다음은 호신술로 보여드리겠습니다.
This form ends with a forearm technique.
다음은 빠른 동작으로 보여드리겠습니다. 다음은
Pal by Q Bup form. Chung Gui Bup way.
드리겠습니다.
Way of receiving the Chigui Bup technique.
보여드리겠습니다.
Practice of Heo In Hwan self-defense technique.
시켜 보여드리겠습니다.
And balance the opponent to finish with a shoulder lock.
다음은 빠른 동작으로 보여드리겠습니다. 다음은 빠른 동작으로 보여드리겠습니다.
제가 볼 때는
In order to express the Hapkido art in the Western world, I developed a 10-year training schedule in Europe with students coming from Korean University of Heo with the idea of making a name for it. And I mean Hapkido as a whole, punching techniques, kicking techniques, and self-defense techniques. Not only the International Federation of Hapkido we have just seen here.
스페인에다 자리 잡게 된 것도 앞으로
In this schedule, we have studied the basics as the most important thing.
제자들을 육성을 해서
It's easy to learn some techniques, but what is really hard is to get the body control, the technique basics. Once you know them, you can learn a higher advanced techniques.
많이 배워서 많이 지도를 해서 건강에도 좋고 배우는 입장
In this video, we haven't seen neither kicks nor weaponry. These aspects of the art are kept for those who want to get into International Federation Hapkido School.
건강을 위해서 배우는 거고 두 번째
This is the way to keep together all over the world, in USA as in Europe. We all are training the same techniques. That's why I want to thank the chance you've given me teaching the 12 forms here. Wishing to the students they learn deeply so we can all together in the same direction.
물질적을 떠나서
As far as concerning Hapkido, there's no different in Korea. Despite the schools are different, they all stay together when we perform a competition show. We respect to each other very much. We don't compete against each other. We join once a year in Korea in order to work for the Hapkido art. That's why Master Myun, the chairman from the International Federation, travels around the world showing his style. Hwan won Chon Ki Bup. Recap of all the techniques, so much in Chung Gui Bup attacking form as in Chigui Bup defending form. All of them must be executed and trained by the both sides of the body. Breathing and concentrations are mandatory in order to get the energy power. Chigui Bup way. Practice all these techniques against different opponents, applying the principles of circling, water flowing, and strength dispersions. Hwan Won Chon Ki Bup, carrying out the 12 basic forms. First, Chigui Bup. Second, Pal Cup Chigui Bup. Third, Sipja Ki Bup. Fourth, Nai Wen Ki Bup. Fifth, Kyodran Ki Bup. Sixth, Mokkam Et Bup. Seventh, Chon Ki Bup. Eighth, Okai Tu Bup. Ninth, Jungpal to Bup. Tenth, Tok Nalgai Bup. Eleventh, Palmot Ki Bup. 12th, Palbai Ki Bup. 'Defensive practice of the 12 techniques in Chigui Bup way.